you, Jackson, for that. Is this on? Hello? Oh, it is on. Well, thank you, Jackson, for that beautiful introduction, and welcome, everybody. Whether you are here in the sanctuary or you are joining us online today, let me just say, welcome home. We are so glad that you are here. And here in Eureka CSL, we like to start each service in two very special ways. And first is in honoring the native lands that we are on. The Eureka Center for Spiritual Living acknowledges that the land on which we gather is the ancestral territory of the Wiyot peoples. This territory extends to the communities throughout most of Humboldt County, and we honor the Wiyot people today. And next, we would like to welcome everyone in with our opening affirmation. If you can put that up for us, Marvin. I do not have a clicker this morning. So we're going to say the top part of this together, and then I invite you to turn to someone near you for that final line, I honor the path, and say that to each other. And so let us begin. We are a welcoming community where the vibration of love lifts us, the wisdom of the ages inspires us, and the science of mind teaching empowers us. I honor the path that brought you here today. I honor the path that brought you here today. Honor the path that brought you here today. All right, and bringing it back in, And Marvin, if you would go to the next slide, please, as we bring that back into this service. This is our weekly schedule. Details and registration links are on our website. And please go ahead and also like us on all of the Instagram and Facebook and everything, because there are announcements that go up there as well, so you won't miss anything. Next up, we have some special announcements today. We have a discovery class that is coming up that is going to be after service today. So if you're curious about officially becoming a member and joining our spiritual community, please join Reverend Angelica after service today for about an hour to learn more. Anything else you'd like to add to that? No, I got it all right. Perfect. We also wanted to mention that Kathy's back. So we have yoga back. This will be on Mondays and Thursdays from 11 to noon here at the center. So come and stretch yourself a little bit. We also have a new book for the book circle. The book that we are reading now is called The Observer, a mind-expanding journey to the very edges of science. Observer will thrill you, inspire you, and lead you to think about life and the power of imagination in startling new ways. So be sure not to miss that. We are also resurrecting, I believe, the Crafternoon. And so this will happen on September 15th. From 1 to 4 p.m. here at the center. So if you have a craft or anything that you are working on and you want to do that in community, it doesn't necessarily have to be a craft that anybody else is working on. Just bring your project in and enjoy some company while you craft. Exactly, any craft. Woodwork, anything. Maybe not saws inside the sanctuary, but... Reverend Angelica says yes, as long as you clean up. That might be the sticky point. Next is the Day of Peace Prayer Circle. This will be happening on Thursday, September 21st at the center here at 1 p.m. We also have some exciting classes coming up in October. This one is Change Your Thinking, Change Your Life. This is one of the foundational classes, so it is one that you need to teach other classes, and it will be taught by practitioner Scott Marcus. It's going to be held on Tuesdays here at the center from 10 a.m. to noon from October 3rd through the 31st. And Scott, I see you standing up. So do you want to come talk about that for a minute? I kind of had that feeling.
Thank you. It's my favorite shirt. Thank you. So science of mind, the philosophy that we follow, is not magical thinking. We do not imagine a pony or $1 million and poof, it appears in front of us. Aww. I know, it's a sad thing. Science of mind, the philosophy we follow, is not a sometimes kind of thing, that it works sometimes and it doesn't work other times. It works all the time. It is not judgmental, it is not personal. It does not punish you for wrong thinking. It does not beat you into submission because you did not think the right thoughts. Science of mind is none of those. What it is always working. Whether you are aware of it or not, it is working all the time. It is already within your abilities. You don't need to do anything to bring it on. It is already there. You just need to recognize it. It is infinitely creative. There is no limit to what it can do, and it is responsive to certain rules. So with all of that as the background in Change Your Thinking, or wherever it was, Change Your Thinking, Change Your Life, what we are going to learn in a 5-week course, which does not have a required text, so it's going to be very interactive and it's going to be very discussion-oriented. We will learn what science of mind actually is. We will learn how to use it, including some of the tools such as affirmations, treatments, and other spiritual practices. We will have fun, and we will enjoy the process. So whether you are an experienced devotee of this philosophy or this is your first time here and you'd like to know more about how it works, please sign up. The sign-up sheet is on the table. It's $170 for the whole course. However, nobody is turned away because they don't have the money to attend. So if you don't have the money to attend and you'd like to show up, please do so. Also, for people who know me, I'm kind of known as the skeptical practitioner, so you don't need to have a really firm belief in it already. You can doubt and you can show up, and we're still going to have a great time. If you can't attend all the classes, attend as many as you can. And if you have questions, see me after the service. What was it? Oh, Tuesday, October 2nd or 3rd is the first date, and then it's every Tuesday in October. Thank you.
You can ask questions. You can ask questions.
I encourage questions to be asked.
Other exciting things that we have coming up. Did you know that in January, Eureka CSL will be 40 years old? And so what better way to celebrate this achievement than to have a party? So if you would like to be part of the planning of this event, please go ahead and reach out to Reverend Angelica. Also of mention, our bookstore is still here for you to enjoy, and books by Joel Goldsmith are 20% off. Also to keep in mind, the little pantry. As always, we thank everybody for this amazing pantry that serves our community. We put things outside, out front, and here in the little pantry in the social hall as well. We're looking for shelf-stable milks and juices, and I think the slide still says we need ramen noodles, but I think we're good, aren't we? Yeah, we're good on ramen noodles right now, so no ramen noodles. Our theme this month is Love Out Loud. And then we'll all turn to our chant. And this is the chant that we learned at Asilomar. So we're just going to say this short chant 3 times. So we'll go through the whole thing 3 times. And I'll just go ahead and start us in that. I am dropping down to the truth of who I am. I am dropping down, surrendering in love. I am dropping down to the truth of who I am. I am dropping down, surrendering in love. I am dropping down to the truth of who I am. I am dropping down, surrendering in love. Now I would like to invite Susan up for our contemplative reading and meditation.
I have a highway cleanup report. I don't know what would be appropriate to make that.
Sure, go ahead and come up and we'll do that before the contemplative meditation.
I don't know if it's an announcement or what it is. Oh, good morning, everybody. Good morning. Well, yesterday, yesterday was Saturday. Yes, we did. It was. And we had a highway cleanup, and we got 6 bags of stuff. I got a $1 bill. And I got a honk. So that made my day, of course. Okay, participants, James Eddington. And let's see, Karen Hill, she's an emeritus practitioner, no longer attends, but is here spiritually. And the luckiest person in the world, Max Fletcher. Okay, our next highway cleanup is November 9th, which would be a Saturday. And if you have an interest, let me know, or somebody in the group that know Donna and Brian are participants also. So just let me know. Thank you. Yes.
Also announce that we get $250 for each highway cleanup.
Thank you, Donna. Yes, we do. We get paid by the state, $250 every time we do this. So thank you.
$251. All right, and I think we had one more question. Go ahead.
I thought you said November 9th?
When's the next one? November 9th.
Every other month.
November 9th is a Thursday.
Yeah.
That's not a Saturday.
It's the 11th.
Oh, it's the
11?
11/11.
11.
Yes.
retired every day is Saturday.
All right, and now we'll move into our more contemplative aspect of our service as Susan comes up to read, and then Jackson will play some music.
I have a mild cold, so I hope I'm not too obnoxious up here. So the theme is love, and I'm reading today from Roger Teal's This Life is Joy, which is a book that the practitioners read as a group a few years ago, and it's highly recommended to all. So I invite you now to just settle into your chair. Close your eyes if that's appropriate. After the reading, there will be 1 minute of silence, and then Jackson will take us into our invocation. When you verbally or even silently declare, "This instant is love," a profound opening is made available and you begin to move back into the kingdom. As we activate the truth, "This instant is love," and feel it quickening the heart, moving us into its opening, we deliver ourselves out of the trances of separation, worldly limitation, and ego-mindedness. We begin living the heart-centered life. The love that is God is an ember in each of us that will never go out. It awaits the surrendering of aggressive forcing, the releasing of fear and neediness, along with the fresh air of the open heart, so that it may be kindled into an amazing energy for good. Our lives are masterful and blessed to the degree that we realize this instant is love. And that is our prayer, that is our intention, to know that there is only love, and that every instant is filled with that love if we just allow it, open our hearts and know that love is the power of the universe. Love is the giver of the universe. And so we just open, we accept it, and we become it. We are the love of the universe. And I know as we come together here as community, whether in person or over Zoom, or just with like minds, I know that we are all together in this knowing that there is only love. And so I know that this service, this gathering, this togetherness will unfold in just the right and perfect way, because it is love, and it is surrounded by love, and it is good and only good. And I just simply let it be, and so it is.
There is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets me free. There is only love.
And as I mask up again, I invite Angelica to the podium.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. It's good to see you all here. Hey, Doug, can I ask you a favor? Can you slide open a couple of those windows up there? Don't turn up the fan. You got people sitting right here that will be blasted. I just figure if we had some air coming in. You can't reach it? I figured you could reach it. Stand on the chair. Okay. Go for it. That's okay. Brian's going to open the door. There you go. Thank you. So I welcome all of you this morning. I welcome the people on Zoom. I'm glad everybody is here with us today. Opening the windows and the door made it a little bit cooler in here. Thank you very much. Thank you, thank you. So as you know, we are focusing on love this month, loving out loud. And today we're talking about love on the spectrum. And you know, I discovered last night that there's a TV show called Love on the Spectrum. I had no idea. I didn't watch it, but I thought it was a really interesting premise. It's couples with Down syndrome that are finding each other. And I was busy doing other things, so I couldn't watch one. But I thought, wow, that's really neat. So when I'm thinking about this idea of love on a spectrum, I'm remembering that love has absolutely no limitations whatsoever. No limitations. The only limitations love has on it is those that we put on it, the choices that we make. So everybody experiences love, and in their own way, whether it's family love or pet love or plant love or whatever it is that we love. Like I love to read, so I'm expressing it that way. I love all of you, so I'm expressing it that way. And we're moving into a place where in the outer collective consciousness, a lot of love is being put down, being persecuted, you might say. And because of that, I feel that we need to open up to the love that we are and to the love that we experience even more than we ever have before. Because I believe that as we live love out loud, we're not only changing ourselves, but we're changing the consciousness of the people around us as well. And you know what I remembered is that love is not a conditional concept. You know, that I'll love you if type of thing. It's a living reality. Dr. Holmes says in the Science Mind, well, let me tell you this first. You might have seen on TV or on Facebook or whatever at one time or another, scientists take a ray of light, of white light, shine it into a prism, and see all the colors that come out on the other side. And in a way, this is symbolic for me of the universal love that is light, that is moving from the one through us into all these various colors. So it comes out as orange and indigo and violet and yellow and red and blue and green, the colors of the rainbow, at least the colors that we can see. I've recently discovered in, my curious mind, constantly watching or reading things, that there's a lot more colors than we see. Like bees, for instance, will buzz over flowers, and they almost have an ultraviolet runway that takes them right to the nectar that they're searching for, or the pollen. And I went out and I'm looking at my flowers, especially my herbal flowers, because I have quite a few herb plants in my garden, and the bees love it. I mean, I walked by that garden and all I can hear is bzzz, and I can't see any runways. And it makes me wonder, how do scientists know? How do they know this, that there's a different way to see for a bee? I know that dogs, for instance, don't see colors like we do. We all see differently. But in the same way the light goes through that prism, love comes through us as well. Dr. Holmes says in The Science of Mind, God is love and God is law. The love of God is omnipresent, and the law of God is omnipresent. That means everywhere present. There is absolutely no spot where God is not. The love of God is the divine givingness, the eternal outpouring of spirit through its creation. So constantly, love or light or God or the force or first cause or whatever you want to call it is constantly moving through us as us. And this energy, this divine energy, acts according to what we're choosing to believe in, acts according to our thoughts and feelings, our predominant thoughts and feelings. We are that outpouring of spirit. Each one of us is. We've been created in the image and likeness of the one. We're energy beings. And that one makes no mistakes. Absolutely no mistakes. So when I think about this idea of love on the spectrum, I'm realizing that absolutely everything and everyone is perfect just the way they are. Who we are is what we're supposed to be. It's who we chose to come into this dimension as. Each of us was brought to this moment in history, in the communities that we came into, because this is where we're supposed to be, for a divine purpose. Some of us find that divine purpose as we move along our path. Some of us don't. And maybe that's why we have to do it again. So, my feeling is that we need to embrace who we are. So I've figured out some truths. Actually, the Global Vision team figured out some truths. I just added to them. Number one, we are perfect just the way we are. I wonder, especially you women, How many times you stand in front of the mirror and go, oh, my thighs are too big, or my stomach's too big, or, you know, I look in the mirror and I think, God, why can't you stand up straight? You know, I mean, we look at ourselves instead of going, wow, look at that. I'm this wonderful body. Every single cell and atom of me is divine. We're not doing that. We're normally putting ourselves down. So we're perfect just the way we are. The gender identities, the sexual orientations, the ethnic heritages that we were born with are divine imprints that we're gifted with spirit, by spirit. Who we are authentically is who we are meant to be, so we might as well celebrate it. I remember finding a little statue of, and I don't even remember who she's the goddess of, one of you might, but the little goddess figure that's, you know, always short and stubby with the big breasts and the big stomach and the big hips.
Fertility goddess.
Well, yeah, she is a fertility goddess, but she has a name. But I don't remember what her name is. No, I don't think it's Astarte. I don't remember. But what I know is when I first found that little statue, I thought, gee, she sort of looks like me, only I'm taller. And I realized, why should I feel ashamed of what I look like? Who told me to be ashamed of what I look like? When I was in Europe, sitting around this big fountain at a little cafe in, I believe it was Italy, looking at all the people that walk. Do you know that the Italian women walk every evening in high heels? And they're walking on cobblestone streets? I'm thinking, I'd break my neck. You know, I'd trip for sure. I'd need good sturdy shoes to do that walking. I wouldn't mind doing the walking, but every evening these women and their husbands, etc., our families are out doing a walk. And I'm looking at all these people. The only ones that were slim and trim weren't married. The family ladies were big, beautiful women. I thought, wow, nobody told them they had to be slim and trim all their life. Now, who tells us these things? Advertising. Somebody wants to sell something. And so you're supposed to look a certain way and act a certain way, etc. So it's time for us to start being authentically who we are. The truth is, the universe doesn't make mistakes. Never makes mistakes. So that first truth is we're perfect just the way we are. The second truth is that love exists on a spectrum. It includes the light and the dark, the comfort and the discomfort. You know, the darkness can be uncomfortable, but it helps us grow. And you know, you never stop having growing pains. It seems like a little sadness, a little sickness, maybe a little poverty, whatever, comes into our lives, and it comes into our lives not because we're not doing our spiritual work right, but because there's something for us to experience through that. And we've drawn it to us for some reason or another. The science of mind definitely points out that there's no reason to suffer, but it doesn't say that life comes without discomfort. So we have to move through the discomfort. Discomfort to me is a complement to growth. And you know, you never stop growing. I mean, physically you never stop growing. I mean, somebody told me at one point that your nose will grow all your life. And I think, yeah, I used to have a real cute little nose. And your ears grow all your life. You know? So that's like an outer example of what's happening on the inner. Your spirit, your essential self will keep growing all your life. So we might as well get into it, right? We might as well allow it. One of the things that they pointed out in this idea was that there's no such thing as a failed relationship. That all of life is a relationship. And that the entirety of all of our experiences helps us connect with our spirit, that truth of our being. So my third one is, love expresses itself in every color, shape, and form. Every color, shape, and form. Even though interracial relationships around the world have had to fight for the right to love who they want to love, even though religions and countries still deny equal rights to same-gender loving individuals, even though romantic relationships have been mostly portrayed as two people. When I read that, I thought, you know, for a little while in my religious adventures, I was a Mormon. And the Mormons existed for a really long time with polyamory. I can't even say that word. With many wives. What? Or polyamory. Yeah, relationships. Right. Anyway, the thing is, though, that was accepted. Of course, they moved to a state where nobody knew them, you know, and created this whole life around them, but it was accepted. Oh, they're Mormon. But now, all around the world, people that live in a relationship of 3 or more are considered abnormal. So when we allow ourselves to really love out loud, we help shift the world towards acceptance of all forms of loving relationships. The fourth one, love exists on a spectrum. So our own understanding of love falls on different places on that spectrum. Nobody is going to love exactly the way you do. I think it's really interesting. In my love history, I realized at one point that I expected my husband to love me the way I felt I was loving him. And then they came out with that book called The 5 Love Languages. And I was able to go, oh, this is how he loves. But that doesn't mean I have to do that, because this is how I love. So all of us are in different places in this spectrum. No one relationship is exactly alike another. And you know, we have the love of family, we have the love of friends, we have the love of our children, our animals, our plants, etc. We love lots of things. So in this idea of love existing on the spectrum, we want to recognize that all of our relationships have contributed to who we are right now. The good ones and the not so good ones. It's all contributed to who we are right now. So I feel that we should have compassion for everyone else who's on a journey of discovery as well. Instead of my being critical, or us being critical, or them being critical of somebody who loves a certain way, just let them be. Be compassionate for them. Be glad that they're experiencing love. And when I was reading my notes over this morning, I was thinking, well, what about those that aren't in relationship and are feeling deprived because of that? I think we need to remember that, again, as I started out, love is absolutely everywhere, because love is what God is. This energy that that's living and breathing as us is love. This energy that's making up this building, that's making up all of us, is love. Everything is love. So what if we treated our whole life as if it were our lover? I think we would feel much different. Dr. Holmes says, the essence of love, while elusive, pervades everything, fires the heart, stimulates the emotions, renews the soul, and proclaims the spirit. Only love knows love, and love knows only love. Excuse me. Words cannot express its depth or meaning. A universal sense alone bears witness to the divine fact: God is love, and love is God. As we walk our spiritual paths this week, let's allow ourselves to move into that compassionate place, to move into expressing more kindness, move into being more aware that absolutely everything in your reality is sharing love with you. You know, as I walk by my herb gardens, as I said before, and all these bees start buzzing, some of them rise up, I'm not afraid of getting stung because I know that they know, or they feel, that I'm peaceful towards them. And so I can love them for doing all the work that they're doing. We could love our pets for doing the love that they're doing. We could love our friends for doing the work that they're doing. Everyone is expressing love in some way. Our job, so to speak, is to learn how to express it more divinely. Recognize that it's God. It's God playing the piano over there. It's God sitting in these chairs here. It's God as the person who's going to sing in a few minutes. All of it is God. Just imagine this for a moment. Most of us have this idea of the grandness of the universal presence, of the, unless you've been really hurt by religion, you might not have that, but being in this tradition, we're beginning to realize that there is nothing but this energy, this divine energy, and it's loving us from every degree, every area, every place we could possibly imagine. Oh, thanks. There's love. Thank you, Catherine. This water is even love. Remember Dr. Emoto, the man that talked about the properties that water has and how it carries energy? What if every time you took a sip of water, you thanked it? I think that's one of the ways that we can really express gratitude in our lives. Express love in our lives, is by being grateful. Be grateful for everything, because everything is here for you. So let's say our affirmation. Whether it is the shy awakening of warmth in my heart for another being, my pleasure at the presence of family and friends, my joy in nature, or the deep certainty of oneness with spirit, I recognize love as ever present in my consciousness and my world. So we thank Les for doing those for us. And let's go into prayer. For those of you who are new, our form of prayer is actually called spiritual mind treatment. And I'm going to speak it in the first person so that it makes it easier for everyone to embody. So this is what I know is true. There is only the one. That's all there is. It might look like there's a multitude of things and people, but there's only the one power, the one heart, the one mind. And I know that this one mind is infinitely intelligent, and I know this one heart is unconditionally loving. So I celebrate that because I know that is within me. Not only is there only one, but I recognize it doesn't stop when it comes to me. It is me. It is working in, through, and as me. It is my life. So gratefully I acknowledge this divine life. And I choose to experience it and express it in ways of love that are greater than I have before. As I move down my path this week, my spiritual path this week, I allow myself to acknowledge that powerful presence in absolutely everything that there is. Most importantly, I acknowledge it in the people in my life. I see the love that God is in their eyes. And I know that they see the love that God is in my eyes. And so I celebrate being able to be part of this spectrum of love. Be part of the rainbow of love. Be part of this divine energy that we call love. Knowing that as I acknowledge it, as I participate in it, I'm up-leveling the consciousness of humanity. And so I see that this consciousness radiates out from us right here, right now, while we're in this room. And it sweeps across the planet like a stone thrown into a brook or a lake, rippling out, covering everyone with this divine energy of love. And I know that love is the greatest healing agent in the universe. So if I'm thinking of someone in my life who is ill, I let this love just wash through them, over them, around them. If I'm thinking about a situation in a country or an uncomfortable presence, whatever it might be, I let this love radiate out from me. And as I do this, I remember God is love. All there is love. And so I celebrate it with every fiber of my being. And I know love heals. So I release these words into divine law, knowing that they are already so. And so it is. Anna Hamilton is singing this morning. So let's welcome her up here.
Is that me?
Yep, that's you. Thank you very much. Ooh, oh boy.
You got free water.
What?
You got free water.
Hey, you know, it's always a great experience to sing here because I look at my material and I try to find something that's appropriate, and then if I find something that's old and it's like an old love song or something, and then I can look at it and go, well, gee, that was almost close. Hi, Scott. And, but, you know, it was so specific to romantic love. And that's not really where we're going. And everything she said, Angelica said today, kind of goes along with some of the changes I made this song. I wrote this song a long time ago for the first love of my life. It's gonna be forever. literature kid. And it's called How to Love the Wind. And God is life, life is love. God is an organizing principle to take chaos and create. It has the impulse, right? The impulse to manifest, to take, explodes. It's, oh, I'm going to make this happen. This is pent up energy, and then it organizes into perfection, and the Lord blows up again, and it organizes itself. So this organizing from chaos to beauty, like a hummingbird's tongue in a flower that's just right. So. If you give away your love, don't think at all where it's going. Look into your own eyes, love's beauty will be showing. Oh, willow, teach me how to bend. Oh, willow, show me how to love the wind. Oh, many people mourn as lost their love when time brings change. We can never shut it out. Infinity, that's our range. Oh, willow, show me how to bend. Oh, willow, teach me how to love the wind. Oh, I could never lose this love. Love gave my whole life to me. What more could I ever ask? Life gave itself and I came to be. Oh, willow, teach me how to bend. Oh, willow, show me how to love the wind. Thank you.
Thank you, Anna, for that beautiful song.
Groovy, Karen.
Groovy, yes. All right, and now we get the opportunity to lean in to sharing our love in the form of financial abundance, of sharing our gifts both with the center and in supporting the greater community. And so let us go ahead and put that affirmation up on the screen. Marvin, there we go. And we'll say this together. I gratefully give from the fullness of my abundance, knowing my gift blesses the center, all in it and beyond, and so it is. word of blessing over every gift and every giver, knowing that each gift is love in action. That this love goes out to support the center and this community and up-level the vibration of the entire planet. And so I just give thanks. So grateful for every single person being that conduit of love in this world. For this and so much more, we are so grateful. And so it is. And now we have the opportunity for someone to come up to read the community statement of inclusion. So who would like to read our statement today? Tiffany, come on up.
We, the Eureka Center for Spiritual Living, are a community that celebrates diversity, fosters inclusion, champions inner work, and creates space for brave, vulnerable conversations. We are a community that honors the unique emanation of God that each person embodies and advocates with people for human rights and dignity for all. We are a community that blesses each other, sees sacredness in all life, remains learners and listeners so that we may grow together, and understands that oneness is not sameness. We know our beloved community is revealed more fully when we love each other well.
So it is. And so before we get to our community closing song, I wanted to see if there are any demonstrations that anyone would like to share. Scott, come on up. I know you said you had one you were dying to share with the community. Two. Oh, two.
Two of the Sagittarian hams.
I'm a Libra.
Okay, you must have Leo rising.
I had two really profound demonstrations this week that my wife insisted I get up here and share. I wrote them in my column. I've worn glasses since I was a tiny kid. I've always had to wear them, and a couple of years ago I got cataract surgery, so I don't need to wear them except for reading and close up. And I purposely made them almost invisible because when I do wear them, I don't like people to know I wear glasses anymore. I become vain about it. I took a walk this week, long walk, taking my dog, and I always put my glasses in my pocket. When I came back home, my glasses were missing. And I knew I had put them in my pocket, and I freaked out. I'm going, oh my God, my glasses are gone, several $100s, I'm going to have to wait weeks to get a new prescription, blah, 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 blah. And my wife said, you're a practitioner. And she said, they're out there. And I said, yeah, but they're invisible, nobody's going to see them. She said, I promise you, they are glinting in the sun. And we took a walk, recreated the path. First block, there they are, sitting on the grass of a lawn just like this, with the sun shining off of them. And so I have my glasses. So my wife said, you have to share that. And then the other one is I have a very long-term friend who I haven't seen in decades. I think about him often. I met him in radio, and he's still a disc jockey down in Chico. And I listened to a podcast, and they were talking, they are ex-disc jockeys too, and they were talking about being in radio in their earlier days, and brought back a lot of memories, and I started thinking about Bo, my friend. And I thought, I haven't heard from Bo in such a long time. I hope he's doing well. I got home, the phone rings. It's one of those numbers you don't recognize. I never answer those anymore. For whatever reason, I picked it up, and he goes, this is a voice from your past who you won't remember. And I go, oh my God, I know exactly who you are. He had been watching YouTube videos of music from the 70s. It reminded of him. At that moment, he said, I just had this overwhelming urge to call and say hi. If those aren't demonstrations, I don't know what is. So small ones, and I found a parking spot right by the restaurant. So I just wanted to share those. I think they're marvelous.
Hard to beat that one. You guys, some of you remember that when I started coming here, I didn't start by playing music because I didn't want to have that ego trip and everything. And then I wanted to share my music because that's what I am. Gotta do it, look, people. And it's, having done it with you guys, a lot of things have opened up for me musically. I was kind of blocked and I wasn't manifesting the gigs. And since I started playing here, and several of you have been very supportive, which is extremely grateful, because it changed the whole energy, and stuff has started coming toward me. I got a trio together, and I also never expected to make any money from it. And I'd like you to know that they pay the musicians $50 for this, and that's a very generous tip for one song, and I'm very grateful for it because it means a lot to me. So thank you very much, and thank the Great Spirit for it all.
Where are you playing next?
Oh, I just listed the September and October gigs on a little piece of white paper with little black print on the secular bulletin board.
Good morning. As many of you know, I attended the spiritual retreat at Selimar, and one evening after the program was over, I was waiting for my ride. They have these little golf carts that pick you up, and no one came. And 10 o'clock, I was still waiting. And finally, the man that was the only one left in the building was working on the sound, and he managed to raise someone to come get me. So the next morning, I asked to speak to the man who was the supervisor of transportation. And I told him what had happened. And he said, well, that's a very valid complaint. He said, I will look into some kind of reimbursement, which I didn't expect. But weeks went by and I never heard from him, so I called on Friday and he was in a meeting, and he never got out before I had to leave to go to a class. Yesterday, the phone rang, and it was the finance director, and she said, I understand you had a concern, and I said yes, and she said, are the last four numbers of your credit card 1619? And I said yes, and she said, we're depositing $120 into your credit card. So that was a surprise.
Thank you all for those wonderful demonstrations. We just love to see how good shows up in all of our lives, and I can't wait to hear more next week. And now at this time, I invite you to stand so as we sing our community song, and Donna leads us in I Love Myself the Way I Am.